SEA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ESL Pro League once again for a night of action of Counter-Strike Go. Joining me, of course, is Cbble and Yanko, or YNK, as you know. We just call it Yanko all the time these days. So, let's get things underway to start with. We'll talk about yesterday, the league results. Let's have a look at that league table, because we had some pretty interesting games. Astralis once again split in 1-1. Of course, it does mean that FaZe Clan are now at the top there alongside them. Fantastic opening performance from FaZe Clan overall.
Definitely, and it was a good performance from FaZe, but also a bit of an underwhelming performance from Virtus Pro. I definitely expected more from them after the long break they've had.
I agree. Definitely a disappointing performance from Virtus Pro, from Snacks in particular. I think he was the main man that we were all watching. He's the high-impact player on that team, and last night he just had an off night, unfortunately for them. So it's been a bit of a lackluster start here in the league for Virtus Pro. But yeah, I mean, FaZe, one hell of a performance from them. Decent round. They managed to close their games pretty neatly as well. You guys can see they have a positive 13 round difference right now, and they need to maintain that. So if they can keep up that kind of level, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them go through the league.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff, of course. Looking at yesterday's results, like you say, it was all about Astralis. We know they're starting off on a rocky start, and that's kind of, it's what we've come to see over the last 3 months, really. They've been hit and miss.
Yeah, and I mean, they did play on Cache, which is not one of their best maps. They usually ban it alongside Cbble. They decided to ban Train yesterday, so I mean, they had problems with that infamous B strat from G2 that they ran, I mean, I think 3 times. They just didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's what,
keep doing the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's what cost them the game in the end.
And then, of course, the VP FaZe match. On paper, it was good maps for VP. There has been a bit of a social media backlash. I see Pasha's kind of lashed out a little anger in there, maybe showing, they are still very passionate about this, and it was just a bad night for them.
No, that's the thing. We have to always. Well, it's something that we have to keep in mind as well, is that the community is so invested in these matches.
Yeah.
Now with social media,
Literally
they can really
invested.
just go. They can just go straight at the players, and so you can be sure that those guys got a lot of mail yesterday. Probably for some concerned fans. Just the fact that they did have such an off night, but it wasn't like, they just missed a couple of rounds. It's just like, where are Virtus Pro? This is not Virtus Pro. Like, this is not what we expected at all from them.
To be fair, Pasha, he was on fire on Mirage.
On Mirage, but on the map before that. It's
just like triple peeking
Fox and getting owned every time, and just not learning from his mistakes. So it was definitely a weird night to watch VP play, because that was not it was just not the VP we expect.
Yeah, and of course, let's look at today's game. Starting off, it will be SK Gaming up against Na'Vi. It's going to be a tricky one for them. They started out, and the map is Cobblestone, not a result they did so well on Tuesday against Envious, and that will be followed by Fnatic versus Virtus Pro.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the maps for Na'Vi, Na'Vi is really good on a lot of maps. Train and Cbble are definitely 2 of them, also really good on Mirage and Overpass. So even though I think that SK is going to do better this season than they did in the last one, I feel this should be a clean 2-0 for Na'Vi.
I agree as well, although I will say a lot of that is going to depend on whether Guardian shows up or not. Because, I mean, Cobblestone in particular for me stands out for Guardian, because if he's having a slow, it always seems like it's Guardian just going ham that brings Na'Vi through that map. It's never like this clean, all across the board play from Na'Vi that really, locks it down for him. It's always like Guardian just going ape.
Yes, but it's also against teams like Envious, Fnatic, and so on. I mean, SK doesn't have the same amount of firepower, simply. But I agree that traditionally for Na'Vi on Cobblestone, their CT side has always been shaky. They always rely on Guardian to win them. Guardian, just win us
just 3 or 4.
Just get a couple of rounds for us on the CT side, and then we'll take over on the T side. And it has been like that. Guardian didn't have to perform perform that much on the T side, his team just steps in.
It's almost like we just need to be saying, the nades are usually important, but this time it's the op. And Guardian, please, prioritize that op, get that op.
It's simply down to the 4-1 stack, and if that one AWPer can do his job, it's like wins you rounds.
And there's a reason why, we say that Guardian is the best opper in the world right now. He's just so versatile, and once he gets that op, he's one of those players, though, who does have that. I mean, you can say he just does have that ego where he's just like, I'm actually the best in the world, so I'm just going to do what I want, right? Yeah. And so he will force sometimes, but it does seem like there's been a little bit of work on that to work on Guardian's mindset.
Make sure he gets
to say, hey, Guardian, maybe just stick on the P2K this round, get Kevlar, but just make sure you have enough money to get that AWP. Don't go for the Deagle. So there's a bit of a balance being found there between the team and Guardian.
And of course, you guys at home, don't forget to get involved with the Score Esports app. Of course, it has your stats, everything on there you're going to possibly want to check out what is going on throughout the world of Counter-Strike Go. Because there's a lot of tournaments going on. There's another one going on right now over in Germany, in Krefeld, just down the road from our studios in Cologne.
Damn straight.
So let's talk about match one. Of course, it is Cobblestone. We were just hitting on it. Mm-hmm. It is going to be SK versus Na'Vi. Are we going to see SK starting out on CT side again? Because they chose it the other day against Envious. And, well, I mean, Anders is waiting to cast this one. He's going to be triggered if this happens.
I mean, I'm not sure if there's anything that's going to help SK Gaming much in this particular game. They might feel that, they're more comfortable starting on the but I mean, you call it a T-sided map, but it depends what teams are we talking about here. If you're talking about Na'Vi, Dignitas as well, maybe some other teams like Envious, yeah, they're extremely good on T-sides, but when you come down to tier 2 teams, it's not as visible in my opinion.
Well, a lot of our focus has been on Guardian for Na'Vi, but for SK Gaming, they really do need Freeze to show up. Yeah. And, I mean, this is a testament to Freeze, like, his willpower right now, is the man has just been through, like, 2 surgeries in the past month and a half or something, one for his hip, one for his shoulder. I mean, the guy is, like, in physical pain, but he's still playing, right? Now, is that detrimental to the team? Is this where, is this an example of, actually, we should have a 6th man on the roster just for this sort of situation, right? That he practices with the team, we can swap him in while Freeze recovers. But I mean, Freeze is playing. The only issue is, is that going to have an impact in that op versus op duel? Because I think that Freeze really needs to step up. Madi's been stepping up a little bit to try and fill the gap. We've seen him have some strong performances individually, but you really need that opper on Cobble. You really need him like Freeze, who we've seen have good performances in the past on this map. He needs to be able to show up tonight. I don't know, pop some pain meds or something and just go.
I mean, you could also talk about, obviously, Magic's Boy, Flamey. There's a couple of guys in there that certainly could step up.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, Magic Boy is like, he is a monster, just pure, like, individual talent, basically. Up and coming as well. I think Fragbat Masters was his first LAN, like international LAN, where he got to perform, and he performed, right? Because we always have that question mark of, the first time that they're going to come to LAN, are they going to be able to maintain that level that we see online? Magic Boy, he delivered in spades. Yeah. He was going toe-to-toe with the best and just coming out ahead. It was crazy to see. So that's also, a weapon that SK need to be able to bring to the fore here tonight.
And also looking back at Navi's previous game against Astralis, there were a lot of, it was really a weird game. Yeah. A lot of
well, they were 13-2 down, and then they came back and won. It's like, that's a game you should not win.
Yeah, a lot of maybe mistakes you wouldn't expect from a team like Na'Vi, and SK of course is going to have a lot of demos they can rewatch. They can prepare much better for Na'Vi, whilst Na'Vi probably won't gonna prepare much for SK. On the other hand, they're just gonna stick to their game. So there's always upset potential in online games like this. I just feel that Na'Vi is a much stronger team, and that's not gonna happen in this case.
So, obviously, looking at the second map, Will We Train, again, it's a similar story. I mean, it's the same as Cobble. As soon as we saw the maps come out, we're like, they're in trouble. Guardian's going to dominate them here.
Especially because of their attitude, Navi's attitude for these maps. Guardian, because he's the only guy giving interviews in that team, he always stresses that they feel that they can win 10+ rounds on T-side train. And that's like comfortably, and that's something that just amazing to have that type of a confidence.
I mean, we saw FaZe get 9 yesterday, didn't they? Against VP?
7 in a row.
Yeah.
So that's why Na'Vi is such an amazing thing, because on those harder sides they are really good on them. They're really confident on them, and then when they go on the stronger side, they have all this amazing individual skill that can propel them in that way as well.
I think the key for them, this is why Guardian can say that they are so powerful on that T side, and it does come back down to fundamentals. They have such a powerful default setup where they just spread out across the map, and they're so thorough, just getting map control, making it very difficult for the CT side to figure out where the attack is going to come from, right? And I mean, then you have that player like Guardian and also Flamey. Between the two of them, spread out across the map. Guardian, you never know where he's going to be with that op, and then Flamey with the rifle. Same thing. These guys, if the CTs try and push in, a lot of the time they're going to run into those guys, and they're going to have a really bad time. So that's like the real power for Na'Vi for me, is that they are like the poster boys of just really solid fundamental CS. They will come in and it's nothing flashy, but it gets the job done.
And I want to rewind a point that you brought up about how Na'Vi probably won't do much prep for SK, but SK will do it for Na'Vi.
Yeah.
I mean, is this a thing? Obviously, I've got a background in League of Legends. Every single team these days has an analyst and a coach, and even actually 2 analysts most of the time. Is this something that CS teams need to start looking towards? Because as we were talking about the other day, watching back map VODs, everything like that, some people like it, some people hate it. It is a bit of a chore. Is this something that the teams need to start going, okay, let's get an analyst guy that will literally sit and watch all of these VODs and try and work something out?
Definitely. I think that's the next step. I kind of feel bad for Starix at times, because I have a feeling that he does all of this for Na'Vi. So he calls in-game, he rewatches their own games, he watches the opponent's games, so he can maybe come up with some anti-strats. But yeah, a lot of teams should start doing this. We see, let's say, Astralis, they're bringing in Zonic. This is
we're talking $1 million leagues now. This is serious.
The thing
stuff.
is in the past, CS has had this, but it's been in the past with the tier 1 teams for the majors. Fnatic, Katowice, they had 4 analysts there who were literally, their job was to watch demos and feed that information into the team. And so that's, so there is some of that infrastructure, but the teams have really been using that for like the big high impact tournaments. I mean, I think you're right though now to start mentioning the fact that we have 3 multi-million-dollar leagues coming up, and the priorities are going to have to change. Your budget is going to have to go up, and you're going to have to try and find these people. My only concern is just, are you going to be able to find people with the experience necessary to be able to watch that demo, know what they're looking for, and give it over to the team in an effective way?
That's incredibly hard, because we have teams like Mouse Sports right now, for example. They want to try and find someone who's going to be an in-game leader, a coach for them, and they're struggling to find a person who's available to do that. We're talking about analysts, but also from the players themselves, from their perspective. I can talk from experience that, the way you learn a lot about your own game is by rewatching your official games, just your own point of view, and then try to rethink what was happening, what were the comms like, what made you, make that particular decision. And sometimes you're just watching yourself and thinking, why did I ever do this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So you can, and that's the most boring thing. You can do. Yeah, of course, it's much.
Because you're seeing your own stupid mistakes, and you're just thinking, why am I doing this?
And it's much more fun just playing that match or just playing, scrims and so on. But this
like
is
last
something
night.
that
Last night, prime example. If Pasha watches it back, he'd think, why did I keep peeking? Why did I keep peeking at Ivy?
I mean,
and as soon as you watch it, you're just like, what was I thinking? But at the time,
this could be applied to any craft, right? There's nothing more painful for me than to listen to a VOD where I'm casting. I'm just like,
oh mate, VOD reviews are it is a pain.
Make it stop!
Why did I say such a stupid thing? Yeah, exactly.
I made it stop.
Thank you.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Yankee.
Hold the mute button down.
But yeah, no, that's the thing, man. It is a very painful thing, and it's also a chore. It's hard to do. You have to be able to, you really have to have the discipline to just sit down and do it. And not a lot of players. I mean, Happy in a recent interview, he mentioned the fact that we tried to have some more convoluted strats. We tried to have some more depth to our game. But then that was where he hit a roadblock, which was just I called for the strat, and then somebody doesn't remember the smoke, or somebody doesn't remember the flash, or like what they need to do here.
That's so annoying for an in-game leader.
Yeah,
man, just imagine. Yeah, exactly. You're like, well, guys, I kind of need you to remember this stuff, and I'm wondering right now if we're going to start seeing that shift back, where we've had that down period where the teams have been able to kind of rely on just being very good mechanically at the game, to now having to put in some more hard work to start, having that next level. Because look at what's possible when a team actually puts in the work, right? G2 yesterday with that B-side execute, they probably spent a night on that, refining all the different roles, and then they actually get to use it in a match, and they win with the match.
It's so satisfying when it wins. Yeah.
That's just hard work. And some other teams, they need to start taking note of that and saying, okay, if we have, a strat in the back pocket just waiting, we pull it out. Boom, we get some rounds. I mean, that's something that a lot of people
I guess
have to take a look at.
that's kind of what Luminosity are doing right now. That's
Luminosity
why they've
and
risen up
Na'Vi
there. Yeah,
are the two
hard working.
It's like hard working.
best
Dignitas
matchup
as
right
well.
now.
I mean, these are teams that you can watch, and it's not that super loose style that we see from Fnatic or Envy. It's much more structured up, and So you have some variety there now in CS, where it's like you have the super loose headshot kind of team, Fnatic, Envy. They're like the kings of this style, very loose. And then you have Na'Vi, Luminosity now are coming in and really showing
Hard grafters.
That tactical style is still viable.
Right, okay, guys. Well, you've heard enough of us waffling. Looks like the match is about ready to go. We're going to go over to Anders and Semler? Anders and Pansy.
Of course I have it.
It's Pandas. Right there.
I wish I could match up to Semler. Sadly, you're going to have to just deal with me for now, but thank you so much, guys. And yeah, Anders, how are you feeling today?
A bit better.
Yeah?
I did get woken up much earlier than I expected.
True, fire alarm problems.
Fire
right?
alarm at 11, which I didn't know was going to happen. Everyone else apparently had read the sign in the lobby that said that was happening, but not me. So I woke up in a panic and I thought the hotel's on fire. I went out into the hallway.
You made an interesting choice after the back of that, didn't we?
Yeah, I just put on like enough clothes that it was decent, and
Right.
I went out into the hallway and checked, and it didn't smell like there was any fire going on. So I went back in my room. I couldn't be bothered.
So basically, you gave the hotel the sniff test, and it
Yeah.
was fine. So you just went, all right,
I
guys,
felt like if there really
back
was
to
a fire,
bed."
there would have been like an atmosphere. There's still like an atmosphere that comes with it, you know, some panic, children
Right,
screaming,
okay. You
stuff
could
like
you
that.
could maybe like felt the atmosphere out and then judge from then on.
Yeah.
But clearly,
Didn't feel like a fire at that time. So
exactly. So I'm glad you made it and there wasn't a fire. That's always a nice bonus to have. But we do have a game today.
yes,
And it's Cbble coming up, your favourite to begin with.
absolutely.
And your favourite team on Cbble as well right now.
SK. Yeah, I don't know if we will catch the knife round, and I'm
I hope so.
hoping that we will, or at least know who picked what. Because if they pick the CT side again, you know, I'm going to be upset.
The triggering just begins.
I mean, the fact is the difference between these two teams means that even if they get to start T side, it'll probably still be a pretty tough game, right?
Yeah,
but,
there's not much more to say.
no reason to
really.
make it worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, don't add to the fire. But yeah, it's pretty much. I just want to see how close they can get on this one. Really, we saw how close they could get against Envy before for SK, and it wasn't that close. Now,
And look at this. I bribed our producer to say that the T side win rate is 100%. So
I think they
that's on
are
me.
perfect stats.
It's
to be fair.
100%.
Perfect stats.
Nobody's ever won any CT side.
Never.
Couple rounds.
It's impossible.
Just how it works. Sorry.
That is it. The knife round has never been so imperative.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the only time it's actually important, really, these days.
Yeah.
To
I
a
suppose if it
lesser
was
extent.
100%, then we'd literally play overtime forever on this map. Never.
And you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just continuously keep going. I mean, the
Never
thing
stop.
is, I think Yanko had like a decent point yesterday. I can't remember if it was off or on camera, but he said, I mean, a good way of winning this map on the CT side is to win the pistol in the 4th round, which is true. I mean, if you do that, then you're up like 5-0 straight off the bat. But that's so hard to do. That's not something you can plan to do. You know, someone has to come up with a way to actually do that, and I don't know if there's a reasonable way. It's at least there is some distance to use the USPS.
Yeah.
So you should, in theory, I think, in the pistol round, have a chance to get some good shots in, but it's obviously not that easy.
No, it's a little more difficult. We are just waiting on the last couple of players to join us, and I think that Guardian has been taking the limelight a little bit for Na'Vi, but on this map in the last couple of games, it actually has been Flamey who's been outperforming him marginally, if you want to look at it that way. I guess statistically, you can take stats as you want to. He does get, given the kind of raid boss style as well, he gets the tech round if they start on T. He gets the opportunities to be that player, whereas Guardian, of course, kind of, I guess, advocates himself away until he has to get that AWP and he comes through. But still, there's a lot of power on the Na'Vi side on this map, and it certainly does suit them to a good degree. And for SK, I don't know what to make of this one for them, because it's hard to deal with this lineup. Pim's having a couple of good games. Modi impressed me, actually, in the last few as well. But it's like, where's Magic's gone? I didn't see much of him, because I was expecting him to be, quite a forefront player, especially against Envy to an amount. But he's been a little bit quiet there.
Well, I mean, I think actually, I think Magic is someone who's definitely got it in him to change the outcome of a game like this, especially when it's a best-of-1 game. I think that's where the best-of-1 format really does suit a team like Escort. It should, theoretically, because winning a best-of-3 against Na'Vi, I don't think it's going to happen for SK for quite a while still. But winning a best-of-1 is definitely possible. Don't know if this is necessarily the best map for it, but then again, if they do get a really good start on the T side, and especially if they get to deny that AWP for Guardian and stuff like that, there's definitely possibilities. And
there's chances.
Again, I think it comes down to just how hard it is to hold either A or B on this map or CT side. I don't think Na'Vi is a team that has particularly well figured out. Like don't think there's anything to figure out on the CT side. So.
No.
The best setup I've seen so far, which people somehow went away from, and I think it has to do with terrorists figuring out how to counter it, but there was a setup for a while where people would have essentially 3 players all at the sort of the tree boost box. So they'd have like one person up on the boost. They would have 2 people behind that, and those 2 people could either sort of look both towards the drop, or they could both look towards plateaus. So you have like almost like a little triangle of people hanging around that very sort of one spot essentially on the map, and that works rather well because that poses the challenge to the terrorist team. They have to now make their push between drop and plateau work simultaneously. If they miss the timing, then the 3 CTs will crush anybody coming from one side. They'll turn around and kill the other people coming from that side because they obviously know what's happening either way. The problem is people started throwing Molotovs onto the boost, and they land flashes and smokes there now. So it's not as easy as it seems. But for a while, that was a good idea, at least to try and force the Ts to be on point with the timing. But it's still not like if they are on point, you're still in an awful position.
There's no easy way around it. Let's be really honest. You do feel a massive disadvantage, and I think it was Virtus Pro I saw doing that a hell of a lot as well. Like Pasha being the guy pushed very, very close to that platform, not necessarily on top, but he, even just going with the Mag 7 and such, and sitting and waiting for it. But yeah, I think this map has a lot of interest and a lot of development through the way it's kind of been played out. And at the moment, I look back to the Envy game against SK. You actually saw Envy coming in with quite a slower approach initially as well. When they're, especially on the T side, they seemed to take their time. They wanted to go for those, actually choreographed pieces. But then they realized we don't need to be doing this. Let's just kind of bully our way through, hammer down, drop, hammer down everyone, and playing kind of basic on this one actually worked out really well. Whereas SK actually did read them to some degree when they're playing more of a choreographed piece. But then, Envy can fall back to just depending on that run and gun style, which SK just couldn't quite handle. So I'm hoping that maybe a slightly more slower Na'Vi or something like that might help SK read the gameplay, a more standardized format to their minds if they do start on, whichever side they're on. But then again, it's not like Na'Vi don't have the firepower as well. So it's always going to be that kind of in-between situation where you're never going to be fully comfortable. But then again, SK have been doing substantially better than they did last season.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not saying much.
Last season they were up to like 0-9 or something.
Yeah, I think it was like 0-8. I think for the longest time they actually.
Yeah, they were in a really, really bad spot.
Yeah, they were.
They did yesterday. SK, I think it was SK, who ended up pushing up and actually trying to push like the B hallway all the way in when they had that one round where they had like C-set 75 or something like that, and they pushed up and it worked out rather well.
That was lovely, actually.
I want to see more like that. I do think we're calling it a gamble, putting like 4 people in B and 1 in A, but it's really not. It is just the near default setup for this map.
Pretty much.
So if you really wanted to gamble, it would, in my opinion, it involves something like putting 2 people in B and then having 3 people push the A hallways, like something crazy like that, where we say, all right, what are the chances that the T side will all be out in that courtyard on the T side? Not that great, right?
Yeah.
They're probably going to be in the hallways early
More
on, and
than
there will
likely.
be 1 or 2 people there. So if we're 3 people coming out, maybe we win that fight, and just hope that it sort of works out,
And the thing is that, especially on this map, it's weird kind of talking these sort of extremes, but you might as well try it, because otherwise you're probably going to be outdone anyway. It's the fact of, should we just try something for the sake of actually maybe picking up a round that otherwise would probably lose regardless? So as you said, it's risky when you think about it, because they are at a disadvantage. The T's will have that first angle coming through and just holding the push out if they expect it, but if they put 3 players there, you might get someone to eventually trade out effectively. So maybe just maybe. I'm kind of hoping that.
At least if
you
you lose the pistol and suddenly you're down like 6-0, you might start to think, okay, we do need just a couple of rounds here. I think we've got 1 player restarting a PC.
Flamey going on the restart, so should be in soon.
It should be good. All right, Starks is on the team. You're right.
Yeah.
So we should be all good in a couple of seconds here. But yeah, best of 1 format, I think, is always a bit more interesting for the underdog teams.
It gives them a chance, right? It really does. At least in this, and you can always understand that the teams who have the, let's say, more well-rounded kind of percentage to win out these games, or the higher value to it, kind of get frustrated, I guess, in best of ones, because it does open up opportunities. But for SK, this is the opportunity. This is the chance to do something here. However, the map pool obviously not great for them. If you think of like a bad map pool to face Na'Vi on, you've kind of got it to a degree. Train as well is ridiculously good for them, which is coming up after this, and it's like literally. I think it was Semler who pointed out on the desk, their T-side from Na'Vi, as well as Yanko, actually.
Yeah.
And it's like, they have the highest T-side win rate out of any map on Train, which is, like, they have a 57% win rate on the T-side, which is the highest out of every single map they play. Even to T-side biased maps, they still play better on Train on the T-side. And maybe that's because people aren't catching up to them yet. That probably will dissipate, but still.
Now I feel like going back and watching some demos just to see how that could be.
I don't know.
Wayne, this last warm-up round, did the bomb land in the cartwheel? I think it landed in the cart there, and I'm wondering if that. Can you pick it up? If that
Rush,
happens?
fly, sweet Rush to the bomb. Can he? Oh, he's got it.
Well, it was the previous round, but it was the cart over by the statue or on the T side of middle.
Can he
There's
find
like
the cart?
it's like a little hay cart there. The bomb
there we go.
landed in that. I'm pretty sure, and I'm
Can
wondering.
you get it?
I wonder if you can stand on
You
top
can
of
jump
pick it
up on it, right?
Yeah, but
You just shoot.
can you reach?
Can we like? I can't see there's a gap behind. Oh, there is a
yeah.
little one. Oh, jeez.
I think it landed in
maybe.
there.
That might actually be pretty difficult to pull out, actually. Hey.
Someone on Reddit tested this out.
Please. For Anders' sake of curiosity,
just
while he
'cause
loses
we-
his mind at SK, just give him some happiness.
Just because we've already had one tournament that was pretty Renegades being.
Oh man, that moment.
To be honest, they were getting beaten up pretty badly already, but that was tragic. Obviously.
That's just like insult to injury level, where it's like, would you like to really be mad at everything going on right now? Not
Yeah.
just the fact you're losing, but also that the game is just, messing
Yeah,
you around.
and now they
That's
picked up
gotta hurt.
Ustilo.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one actually.
will be
So far, the Aussie's been playing really well. Was it Yam who's been going absolutely wild so far in the
I
Pro
think
League?
so. Yeah.
I think he's been one of the. Well, I know. I think it's Kusta who's currently actually got the best stats out of everyone, which just makes me giggle.
Kusta, man, it's
The kid's
incredible.
absolutely nutty. But no, I think Yam's been playing absolutely out of his mind, which is quite good because I know Yam had a couple of critics before, so it's nice seeing him finding a little bit of form to start off with. And yeah, I need to actually catch up on the ESL side of things. I haven't really been able to watch that many games. I ended up falling asleep just before. The Wi-Fi was awful in the hotel. It's very sad.
I was playing Diablo with Freiburg.
It's this
'cause
guy.
That's what we do. And then I was reading.
So your fault. So if LMP come into
it's
this,
literally
right,
my
and
fault,
Freiburg bottom frags, like he's got enough problems now, and now you're adding to this. How dare
Maybe
you?
what I should do is I should just like borrow his account and then he can't obviously log in and then he has no choice
That's the kind thing, I think. The kind thing.
to do it. He
Poor
has got
Freiburg.
like a pretty well stacked account there.
Well, to be fair though, I think it was like MBK when they were getting ready for like a couple of the majors as well. Like he just sits there playing WoW. Like a lot of these players do have like fallback games, which believe it or not, like some people need that and some people don't. Like some people like that kind of I need something else to do other than sitting there grinding.
For me, it's a nostalgia thing because we used to switch between Counter-Strike 1.6 and Diablo 2. That was like that was
your little
the
break
good
game.
switch, yeah. So whenever you got really frustrated with Counter-Strike, you go and play Diablo for a while. Which Diablo has literally like no. There's like no one can be better at Diablo than anyone else. Everyone
It's
is
just
exactly at
like-
the same level
yeah.
of playing Diablo, but it's still good fun.
See,
It's
we
like-
made the error of going to Quake, because we used to play like either COD 4 Pro Mod or Enemy Territory, and they're like, okay guys, we've had a really bad day of games getting trashed on like the CB ladder like massive scrub lords. So like, let's just play some Quake, because that'll be relaxing. Literally the least relaxing game in the world. It's like you just go and play like some duels, and you just get trounced like 50-1, you just sat there like, I hate my life.
The one relaxing element of playing Quake is obviously the
movement?
Yeah, the movement.
Oh, the defrag movement was beautiful. Like I preferred CPMA, because you could literally just fly around. It took very like minimal skill, unless you're like obscenely good at
It
it.
feels so good to navigate a
Beautiful.
Quake map perfectly. I mean, whenever that happens, you just feel like
I remember
am
like
some sort of
watching
god.
those defrag movies. I think it was like Shaolin movies or something. Used to do them originally. They were like beautifully edited and like super floaty and stuff, and it was so nice. I'm trying to remember the guy who made like the really famous one. He made like one movie that everyone knew in Quake, and he used to like, and he became like he was also a pianist
Yeah, I
as
think I
well.
know
He did
what
the
you're talking
Riot
about.
stuff. He did a lot of this stuff at Gamescom. I need to remember his name. Wesp Strafes. It was so good. If you guys haven't watched that,
There's
do
something
check
for
it out.
people to YouTube right now.
Yeah, it literally is, because warm-up's sick.
Well, that was half my. Apparently, we've got half a minute until we're live.
Ah, nice,
The
that's
other
good.
half of my evening went with reading up on the latest science of gravity.
Really?
Yeah,
How's
they had
it
a
coming
huge-
along? I thought
they
that was
had
done
a-
and dusted.
No, because Einstein had this theory like 100 years ago that there'd be such a thing as a gravitational wave, but you were never able to prove it.
Right.
And then in 2014, we got like all the data from actually two like black holes collapsing into each other,
Yeah.
and that spawned like a huge wave that we could measure. So now it's been confirmed, which is incredible.
This is just great.
That
It's
was
like
that was the other part of my evening.
lessons with Anders. It's just like Diablo grind.
Huge scientific
and then
discovery.
that. Beautiful.
One of the biggest in the past 10 years or more, probably.
I just sit there watching QI. It makes me feel intelligent, but actually, I'm just there looking at Stephen Fry. So
Well, who doesn't really, to be honest? Steven's
he's
amazing.
amazing.
Absolutely. Who's the chap on that show? Alan.
Alan Davis.
I love Alan Davis.
He's
as well.
amazing. He's so funny. SK have got the knife round, so you get to see if they're going to make you mad or not. Let's see, SK. You're going to rustle the gym jams of Dearest Anders.
I mean, we already had this conversation yesterday, SK, and I just feel like...
I hope they do it just to annoy you now.
If you're not even going to listen, then...
That Danish flag just...
They are going to stay there. All right.
Joe, I'll let you take this round, just so you can take all your anger and frustration at least into this.
Well, I have to assume that they have then, you know, they've looked at the demo from last time and come up with like a really good way to play the CT side now, so that they can.
They're changing the meta, Anders.
They can get like. I think they need 5 or more rounds, preferably 6 or more. I'll let them have it at like 5 or more, but then it's still going to be a tough game. So pistol round, and this is what goes back to what Yanko was saying. If they at least win the pistol round, then something is working out right. Asilian with a little bit of a challenge early on here, and fighting Guardian, and this is maybe not such a bad fight. He's doing good damage, down to 2 health, 1 more bullet to do it, but somehow Guardian is still alive, and Seized and Modi have been traded. That's Pimp and Flamey picking up a kill each, and Edward walking right in. Pimp gonna go down, and now it's 2 versus 3. It's still looking decent enough here for Na'Vi. They can get this round done, but the bomb is out in the middle of nowhere. There's time left for them. And they do have a USP on Edward, so it's possible for them to find some long-range kills. Magic Boy in a good corner, and actually Asilian still in a very good spot, so still more than a minute left here.
See what Na'Vi can find out of this one. As we know, the bomb has been spotted out, but Asilian's keeping tabs that maybe someone's still coming through platform wide. Zeus is there, now spots him out. Asilian's going to get the tag, just cautious of Edward being somewhere else on the map that could cause issues, but actually Zeus takes down Asilian. That's going to make some real issues happen now, because bear in mind, Guardian's cutting off the rotate here. Magis, though, completely wipes out Edward. Now in a 1v2, though, Zeus picks up that P250. He's got to know where 1 is, but where's Freeze in all this? He's got to understand, he's got to be he has to be somewhere around there.
So little time right now for Zeus. I think he's playing this a little bit too long. I think maybe he also got spotted by Magic, who was actually over by the chicken coop, and there's a good headshot coming in. Now down to 25 seconds, and gotta remember as well, this round for SK is huge. They have to win it. Everything pretty much rides on it, so see if they can make it work. Zeus coming out, he gets shut down. Magic Boy picking up 3 kills in the round, and SK winning it. A lot of credit as well to Asilian early on. I mean, getting Guardian that low, trying to stay alive for a long time. I think he tried to play it smartly up on that plateau. So, yeah, very good job. And Na'Vi just getting a bit confused in the middle of it.
Yeah, normally that drop kind of split. It was a 4-1 split, as you said. Guardian was the one in that little fight with Asilian. Asilian just held back, allowing Guardian down, so everyone else could just focus in on drop. And actually well handled throughout the map there by SK. So first round goes to them, but will we see the often said stat now of how many times the T-side can turn the second round, considering we've got the armor there, we've got the smokes, we've got a couple of A-flash, excuse me, and everything they need. A Deagle as well. Now, Cease is the one testing the waters over by B, but that's not where the play is coming towards, at least for now. Now, Pimp's going to be the one having to wait on this corner. Zeus is there, so there's the first. Pimp's got to expect more, though. Backs away smartly, takes a different angle, spots the bomb, and now they should have this round.
Oh, definitely. Freeze also winning a fight. Pimp eventually going down, but it's not really the end of the world. Seized and Guardian are going to be left, and looking for a bit of a shot there. Guardian, the Deagle in hand. I do want to credit Asilian for not returning fire over by the plateau. That may seem like a really silly thing, but so many people, when they start seeing sort of the bullet traces coming through the smoke, they feel tempted to shoot back. And think about how little there is to gain from his point of view. Maybe he gets the kill, so what? If he goes down, though, that'll potentially open up the whole bomb site. So it's just not worth it. I think it's smart for him to not do it. Maybe if he had the M4A1, he could chance a couple of shots through. But it's still dangerous. You don't know how many people are back there. And
we were seeing Asilian's praise, to be fair. This guy held it together on Mirage, for example, against Envy with the UMP. He plays such a unrewarding role sometimes, but he does it very, very well. So credit to him so far for keeping that up. But Guardian's going to find Modi's head pretty swiftly, but Magic is there, and he will find the last one. So again, SK holding it down, keeping at least a rifle into practice here for Magic. Everyone else is pretty well set, so shouldn't be too much of a bother. And really, Na'Vi haven't had much of an opportunity for anything. They haven't had a single bomb plant yet, and they haven't picked up that many kills either. They're still relatively well set going forward, but at the moment, they should be just fine.
Yeah, this next round coming up should be much, much simpler for SK to have to deal with. So the real test, and this is again fulfilling sort of the Yanko prophecy here. It's about winning that 4th round now. That really matters. They're going to try and see if they can get down, drop really quickly. Modi there with the UMP takes down one, and this grenade is going to be beautiful, isn't it? Right around the corner, forcing them forward, getting a kill with the grenade as well. and shutting down all of Na'Vi. Let's see. Will they save both the SMGs? I hope not. Yeah, I think Muddy already, and yeah, they switch out everything. And I love it. This so much right. If they win this round, then their first half is almost done. Then they can just almost relax and say that that's cool.
It's like I can almost forgive it when you're Envy, right? And you can win those crazy force buys. But when you're SK, I don't think you can quite have that sort of confidence in it. But now I can see Guardian back on this AWP now, or at least the first time, should I say, in this game. So curious how this one plays out. They did that nice little 4-stack towards B in the prior round, expecting Na'Vi just to do that all-in rush. But up on long, we've got Freeze there, double stacking it out, but Modi waiting patiently by drop. Nade comes through. Does actually catch Shees and Flame a touch. The trading comes through. Molly's there. But Na'Vi just making their presence noted. They are actually fairly far forward at this point, and I think, again, Asilian's going to be important in this one. He's going to be holding by that drop as well with Modi. Smoking out by the window. Going to force it into the hands of Asilian if he goes for it. But he smokes again. So just holding them back so far. A nice little tip for tap. But looking at the utility SK still have, they've got a fair bit there. They've got the Molly still in play, at least onto Pimp. A couple of flashes. But it looks like Edward's starting to edge out towards that B site.
Let's see. A bit of a pop flash in. Just trying to buy more time and maybe break up the timing just a tiny bit for Na'Vi. There is a 3-man stack going on here. And I'm not sure this setup is ideal for what's coming. I do like the fact that Freeze is coming in to help out. That will definitely make things easier. But Asilian goes down, and now look at Magic. He has to cover just way too much at the moment. If he falls as well, this bomb site is already going to be gone. But nice shot there, and he just continues. Freeze picking up Flamey as well. What a great reply from SK. Magic picking up Zeus, and now it's all down to Seized. 1 versus 4. He can't make it happen. Modi will shut him down. And SK, a huge round for them here. This puts so much pressure on Na'Vi.
And the best thing is that we just saw that 3-stack coming in pretty well. The thing you were highlighting earlier that not many teams do, it actually worked out quite nicely for them. It was a little later than maybe we previously saw, but you can see as soon as we see 4 players come to platform, instantly everyone comes out. Freeze is playing the statue well. You've already got Magic going big for his side, but you did have the support there coming through as well. So nicely done, and it's the imperative 4th round here.
And actually, in that replay that we just saw, you saw how Magic was turning around just as they're pushing out the plateau. Just imagine how mad that is. I mean, the fact that he even feels the sort of the need to do that, he's worried for just a second, that's so scary, because if they get the kill on him right there, that's again, everything falls apart. So there's so much to cover on that plateau or in that boost box there, but it works out for them. Really, really good job on SK. I'm definitely loving this. And look at how the setup is now. Again, 2 people by A, a little bit more of a spread out defense over at the B bomb site. But they're expecting, I think, a kind of an A hit. And actually, there's something we've seen previously on Cobblestone as well, so I don't blame them. That people will sometimes try and speed up on A long with Tech 9s.
Yeah, and I like Freeze's spot as well. He was playing the kind of jump off just very close beyond to sit over towards B if needed. But already Na'Vi putting at least 2 players towards that drop room. Flamey being one of them. Molly going to hold them back or at least deny one path through, but they're not overly reading into this SK. Modi's found C, so that's going to cut off one of the arms here, and he finds a second. That's the 2 players removed from the B presence. Now it's down towards A. Pimp's got Zeus down, and he spots out the last 2, so they know exactly what's coming. And nicely done by SK. Not over-rotating, not panicking on towards drop, assuming that maybe, hey, they're just pouring through here. Keeping calm, keeping cool. And look at the economy building up for SK now. 7.1 on Free. She got 7k as well on Magic. This is looking really nice for these guys. And Pimp as well. If we can see how many times they've died throughout this as well, if Rush, the Observer, could just hover along that, I'd love it dearly. You can see how clean some of these rounds have been now. They're keeping players alive, and they're building up that perfect economy. On the other side, this is going to be a tough one for Na'Vi.
Now, you got to wonder what kind of state of mind SK is in, because it's 5-0 is very good to start off with, so they're probably feeling great. But if they lose this round, then I think they should start to think about maybe just how do we get another 2 rounds on the board. You know, we've got 10 rounds to play with, how do we get just 2 more? Because that would be brilliant right now. Pimp, got to be careful about the gun barrel showing. Edward is right on the other side, but a bit of a pop flash in. Pimp going to go for the peek, and it's almost perfect. That could have been a great double kill there. Freeze on the corner, missing a shot, and they're going to try and speed up behind. The grenade comes out. Edward on 1 health. Freeze still not getting that kill, and he's going to get hunted down and killed by Zeus.
And I think he had a Tech 9 to fall back to if he wanted to, but he just wanted to stick it out. No Asilians in no man's land. He's got players just to his right, but now Modi has to hold this together. If he allows them to pour through and challenge down Asilian, they're going to be down to absolutely no one. Good flashes coming out. I think that actually might have been a team flash that caught him in the end, but still, Modi just holding calm. Zeus is looking for something here. Asilian's holding well, but down goes Magic, and that's the cover we were looking for. Modi, great little bit of coordination with Asilian then, keeping him covered. Down to this 2v2, though. Na'Vi still have a good chance at this, but the bomb's in a good spot for SK.
Good grenade on to Guardian there. That was beautiful. Obviously, if it had been Edward, that would have been even more impressive. And Edward, he's got 1 health, but still picking up kills. Modi out in the open, a drop Guardian, and the bomb is up there as well. 30 seconds. Modi just has to land 1 bullet, and there it is. He clutches the round with a triple kill here. lone Swedish player on team. And it's going to be 6-0. And now Na'Vi have got to be a little bit worried. And that's maybe why they're just straight buying here. Not going for like a Tech-9 semi-buy or anything like that. They're just going to go in for it here. I wonder if they're going to try and speed it up at some point. I mean, if they haven't really tested that beat defense yet, I think.
No, they haven't just gone for that straight play, like just power through and take the challenge. Now, again, credit, in my eyes, goes to Asilian and Modi. These two, the coordination, the teamwork it takes to actually play A well is something that a lot of teams do have issues with, and especially because you have so much faith in the guy holding the site there, which was Modi, and Asilian had to just say, guys, you know, just please don't let them push me. But now it's Freeze's turn. Last time he didn't get really much of a shot at this, and I think they're going to go for a little bit of a cheeky boost out on this one. Guardian's going to be the one possibly going for the swing out. Actually, no, they do just end up backing away, and Freeze, you can't miss sitters like that. That does allow some control towards A and just remove some of the vision away from the map from SK.
Sees, look at him trying to catch whoever he can. That's going to be the kill on Modi, who was out of the open for a very long time. It looked a bit confusing for a moment. Freeze only going to get the one shot in on Zeus, which is a good kill, but not sure it's going to be quite enough. There is a flank coming in, but I think it's going to be just a couple of seconds too late here. Asilian, he couldn't catch anyone on that slope, and that means it's going to be a full 4 versus 3 retake here, which is not at all easy for SK. Sees holding close to the balcony. Asilian might get a free shot in, but he can't have the headshot just yet. The Guardian gets to live a little while longer, and now they're out of time as well. Pimp and Magic will pick up 2 good kills, but it's still a little bit too late. Magic trying to see if he can clutch it. This is a very, very brave move. Flashbang not going to touch him just yet. He takes out Seized, and the bomb is planted out in the open as well. So he's got one chance here to kill Edward. Goes for it, and Edward just takes the full fight. I just had no idea what Edward was just doing. That is Magic Boy coming up with a triple kill, an 11-1 scoreline, and a clutch against Na'Vi that are now down 7-0.
I guess maybe I need to call out Magic a little bit more. You know, last time, super quiet game. Didn't have that big performance that I expected him to have. Now, you can see the delivery this guy can bring. But then again, Edward had a flash as well. He could have just pop flashed out if he wanted to go for something. Just takes the straight fight, and wow, that was actually quite late into the plant as well. There's only a couple more seconds on that, really, if you wanted to play to the time. But still, 7-0, Anders. You know, we mock SK Gaming, right? We gave them a little bit of grief for picking on that CT side initially. Then you got to think, coming back into it, they pick it again. And now we're seeing why. You said maybe they've done their homework here, sat there, just gone through the demos, just kind of poring over those options. And I guess it's worked out to some degree. Na'Vi's going to be left scratching their heads at this point. We've given little attention to them because really, they've not brought much to the plate, and they've yet to go for that faster hit now. Now Pimp takes a swing on towards Edward, wins that fight along, and there's no one else really there at the moment, but it might speed up the play towards drop now. It does seem as though Seized is looking towards trying to find something, but Asilian's gone for the counter boost, and it works out. He holds back just long enough to make it count, and now Zeus still on his own here, looking for something. He's going to at least take down Pimp, but now they know roughly where that bomb is, as both of them start pushing through.
So interesting is how many fights SK are winning are really far away from the bomb sites, which doesn't usually happen that much on the CT side of Cobblestone. So I actually love it. They've also got some good setups where Freeze is sort of there baiting a bit with the AWP, and then there's a rifle player right next to him over at long.
Yeah,
so
normally Pimp, I think it is.
Yeah, Pimp, exactly. So they're getting some pretty decent trades in right now, and that's incredible because usually you end up fighting pretty much on the bomb sites if you're on the CT side, and that's the problem, obviously. That's where things tend to fall apart. So I think maybe part of the success here for SK is just actually forcing the fights way earlier on, instead of here where you'd normally have them, right? Guardian is alone in a 1-on-4, takes down one to make it a 1-on-3, does a lot of damage, very nearly took out Asilian. Guardian on the verge of clutching a 1v4 here. He's going to get the bomb plant as well, and they've got to be careful here. They don't want to spark any kind of comeback here for Na'Vi. Grenade comes in once, Guardian going to go for the shot, that's now triple kill. And Modi, does he have any idea where he's coming from? Guardian needs to just get one look at him here, and oh, it's a headshot as well. And it's going to be all 4 kills. Guardian picking it up the first round for Na'Vi in a 1-on-4.
How can you account for a player like that? You just... okay, don't get me wrong. They probably shouldn't have been peeking one by one. Even at the end, decisions are awkward at that point. Do you try and take a quick fight? Do you try and catch him on the reload? But you just can't give that guy chances. He's so damn good in these situations. And now 7-1, sure. Okay, it's a very minimal piece in the puzzle to be put together here, but it's a start. It's one way to get someone like Guardian confident. Now Freeze is looking for these picks here. Guardian's already waiting a bit of an off angle. Well, an adjustment on that doesn't get the shot through though, and now going to get the information and back away this time.
I think the fact that they lost that 1v4 is probably one of those things that happens even more when you're up as far as they are. They feel so confident that, wow, it's won already. Then it just isn't. So Got to be a bit careful with that. A good performance from Guardian, obviously. Some of those shots weren't too easy. I'm just waiting to see, because you can tell right now SK are playing much more defensively than they were earlier. And this is normally what I don't really like to see on this map. Again, from the looks of it right now, the fights are mostly going to happen. If they can get this plateau win in, then that's good. But if not, then they're going to end up fighting on the bottom side, and Na'Vi should have the lead.
Well, perfectly timed flash then, but then again, Na'Vi does like to make their plays happen at around that 40-second marker, so it's not something completely unheard of. And there we go, the smokes are going down. It's going to be down to Magic and Asilian to create this crossfire, and they have checked for him, but it doesn't matter. This guy's going wild. He's got the perfect flash. He picks up two, and Na'Vi are going to be left in absolute disarray if they don't get these kills in and very, very quickly. The molly's not quite to place, and now Edwards in a tricky situation. He has to depend on C's to come through with this. 20 seconds remaining. It's all onto Edward, and to be fair, piece by piece, it's fallen apart here for Na'Vi, and they do not get the timing, they do not get the execute. And SK with the perfect position. I don't know how Magic got away with that.
Well, part of the explanation why he got away with it is because Na'Vi, even though they won the round, it was only Guardian that lived, so the rest didn't have that much money, so they had almost no Molotov to check any corners. Now, I would actually love to know if Magic took that into consideration when he went there, because if you stand there after Na'Vi have won, 4 or 5 rounds in a row, very, very often that spot's going to get Molotov'd out and you'll have a really, really bad position. So if he sort of went to the depths of saying, wait a minute, they can't have that much money, I'll just try and stand it because they won't be able to check it. That'd be quite cool. And obviously the timing with the flashbangs was just perfect as well. Wow, we're watching some really cool stuff here. I mean, I'm excited for what's seeing.
You and me both. I'm also just kind of hoping, though, that Na'Vi just starts speeding up towards B, or just do like that kind of like more aggressive B hit. Like, of course, they've probably been put off by not the unfortunate rounds, but the well-played rounds by Magic. Last time they tried it, I guess, he was up on the plateau. He just nailed down 2 or 3 of them. It becomes awkward. But they've not done that all-in smash on B, where it's like a little bit of, a little bit of play towards drop. Nice timing coming out. They can't really afford it at the moment, which is the only thing that's going to be coming through for the next couple of rounds. But hopefully when they do get the money, and I'd really like to see it because we haven't seen it, which was a consistent issue for SK against Envy, because when Envy were playing that slower style, SK got a couple of rounds. We're like, okay, that's that's good, right? But then suddenly Envy were like, screw this, why are we playing this respectful style? Let's just go in and take the fights. And then suddenly SK couldn't cope. But then again, if Magic's hitting shots, if Pimp's playing well, if Moddy's on fire, it's very hard to win this out. But look at this play from Pimp. He's got to have heard those footsteps. Freeze sees everything, misses again. Freeze is not hitting the shots that I've been expecting so far, and this is just a quick play from Na'Vi to try and get in their faces. And a good trade actually for Seas there, takes down Molly, so it opens up a chance, but a fast rotate from SK. Everyone's here, but again, Freeze. Can this guy hit a shot right now?
Apparently not, and it's put Pimp in a bit of a weird position. He ends up dropping, but they will be able to trade it out anyway. Asilian coming up with a good double kill, and SK making it 9-1, and Na'Vi had actually fought in this round. That was an important round for them. You could tell definitely that the speed was almost catching SK off guard then, but they did have a really quick rotation, and that's partly possible because their hold on B is only really having one person on the site and the other 2 closer to drop, so that those 2 people on drop are more capable of rotating back there. So overall, everything seems to be working right now for the Danish team. Pretty impressive.
I'm thoroughly impressed, and it looks like a kind of all-in.
Look, again, they're doing this thing where they boost up and they don't like to push people too much forward. I think it's a very good idea indeed. Magic going to be falling back down, but Asilian picking up one more double kill and looking for the triple here. Finishing off Guardian is going to give him just that for a 10-1 scoreline. And I've got to say I'm impressed with Asilian lately. Magic and Muddy playing really well, Pimp as well, but I feel like Asilian seemed like him and Freeze, I think, are the 2 people on this team that seem the most lost out of all of them. But for a while now, he's actually been playing quite well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, he's doing like the calling, so not easy.
No, it's really not. I'm amazed at this so far. You look historically at who's beaten Na'Vi on this map in recent times. Your Fanatics have basically been there. Luminosity maybe once or twice getting close, but it's been, it's been the heavy hitters. Na'Vi are a extraordinarily good side of this map, so I'm hoping we get to see something of that. But so far, SK playing out of their minds. Playing this perfect game on a side that just doesn't encourage it, and the good flash comes out. They're trying to maybe throw back to how do we eliminate Magic right now, and they can't. That's 2 back-to-back, and Na'Vi are struggling here, and this guy is at the helm of that ship just saying, you are not going to this site at all. He's got so much backup as well, and Na'Vi just can't exploit this.
And again, they do not have the grenades, because you can easily Molotov that position out that Magic is in. So I'm sort of starting to wonder, do Na'Vi not know how to throw them, or do they just never have enough money for it? It seems like this round they didn't.
Yep.
But they haven't really tried previously either. I mean, they can't easily rush B because all of those grenades are coming in early on. But once the grenades have been used, as Zeus sort of drops in here, there's no reason why they couldn't go for a real execute. You know, Molotov the platform, put the smokes down on the long side, then get in and get the bomb down. I mean, that if SK are holding close to plateau, the way to try and punish them is obviously just try and take color fights, very often through smoke. If it works, then you go. As soon as you get a kill, everybody goes in drop and on plateau. If they're holding as far back as SK are now, the way to punish them should be to put up a wall of smokes and then get the bomb down.
I'm hoping we can watch Seized here. He does have the molly, so hopefully the observer does switch over to Seized and see if that actually goes down towards the plateau or if it's just towards drop. Again, just put it towards drop. They've got the smokes there, so actually not going for what maybe we'd hope is to molly out that position, even if it's just with the Tech 9s to allow the entrance to the side. They've been severely lacking. Now, Magic, again, you asked if this was a play off the back of if he does go to the corner or play on the side, knowing that there's a lack of money, and it seems as though it is.
And it's going to be brutal as well because they're trying to execute much further into the side. They're also getting flanked by Pimp. Na'Vi not finding much luck at all. There's some Molotov coming out. Pimp shooting Zeus just slightly in the back of the head.
Zeus is like, what?
Bit of a tickle, like, what's going on here? Magic going to be picking up the one headshot on Guardian, and he does line up a couple of more players, but he will take him out eventually. He does a lot of damage and Freeze is there. Going to be jumping around the corner. Nice style points coming out from Pimp and Freeze to finish it off with a double kill of his own to make it 12-1. Wow, they're dictating this game so ruthlessly right now. Na'Vi, they wanted to punish, it just looks like they wanted to punish the setup for SK by putting up those smokes and getting the bomb down. But then Magic is playing close instead of far back, and obviously Pip flanking as well. But even then, it's pretty hard for Na'Vi at the moment.
I am beyond impressed with this, but Freeze now at least gets a little bit more of a debut than he's had earlier, finds Edward and gets a lot of information to boot. He already saw maybe two other players, or at least, one other player crossing then, so they know there was at least a presence to this. And you can see the instant reaction. They actually fall back pretty passively very early on. They're not taking any deeper fights, really. They're letting these guys take some control here, and Zeus just trying to see if he can get a peek over the top of that smoke. No one's actually there. Bearing in mind, Pimp occasionally has been pushed up towards that sort of spot, but Pimp this time is down waiting in mid, and a lovely adjustment towards Flamey, and again, it's all falling to ruin. Na'Vi are just not winning out in these fights, and they are not understanding the pacing that SK are pretty much bringing to this.
I gotta wonder just how come there was no big change for Na'Vi at all in this game. When they started to realize surely that SK were doing a very fine job at winning these duels, they should be able to use the numbers that they have, pushing either side essentially with just a bit more pace and trying to see if they can make that work. They even came close, rushing A bomb site with Tech 9s. They definitely caught SK off guard, and they must have had a sense that they were able to get quite far into the A bomb site before there was a real reaction. So they're not doing a very good job at the moment of adjusting to really anything.
No.
But
maybe they just saw your stats at the start. Like how much you love the CT side and things like that, and they're like, do you know what? We better keep up to those.
I've been really bitter about the CT side on this map. Like, really salty.
To be fair, though, it's an absolute joy seeing a team who can work around it. So it's a nice adjustment. It's something that you actually wanted to see. But now it's down to Seized, who does manage to get the first. And he spots out the second. He's just seen another flash possibly come over from that direction. I don't know if he can work that out quite yet. But that molly isn't into touch, so he does have a chance here. But a spray comes out. It's not quite on. Cillian leaps around and gets it. And another one on the board for SK. This is brutal, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, I won't go so far as to say that this is SK sort of showing us how to play CT side combo, but I think right now they're showing us more promise than a lot of teams who sort of tend to get a little bit stuck here. But I think Na'Vi might also have reached the point where they're now so frustrated at what's going on that that second kill, for instance, that Pimp got shouldn't have happened. He should have been going down instead, and it should have been a trade, and then Na'Vi maybe could build something behind it. Now it's a double-up setup here for the 15th round, the last of the half, and Na'Vi trying to see if they can find a way back here. Let's see if they are going to be able to put this together. A lot of grenades coming out early on, a lot of presence here. C setting up for the one smoke, and I'm wondering if they are finally going to try and put this Molotov home up onto the box. Not that Magic is there right now, but still be good to see them just do some of the fundamentals. There's the Molotov going up, so if he had been there, it would have worked out just fine, but now Cillian Freeze as well, and Na'Vi, they're getting shut down. I still think this is the right call. I think they should have made it a long time ago, but it's not working out. SK everything is going their way right now.
It really is. This is the first time they've had the double AWP out as well. Pimp just picking that one up, but it doesn't even really get a chance to even put it to practice now. Zeus is trying to find the room to breathe here, try and find a little bit of room to move, but already you can see that SK are like, okay, well, it's not really here, is he? And who's watching that cross? It is Pimp. Oof! Zeus. Almost punishing Pimp for holding that angle on the drive-by, but he's looking to try and at least pick up one here, make this feasible, a chance, you know. Guardian pulled off something obscene before, and that was the round they got on here, remember. Guardian going wild, and look at the coordination on these flashes, just trying to get a nice blanket flash throughout. It doesn't even matter if you get it or not. Modi is there with backup of Magic, and the defuse will come in. And when Navi's only picking up one round so far because of Guardian being an animal, that is ridiculous.
Very, very curious about what's happening here. I'm definitely going to go back and watch this demo again, and just look at the minimap for the whole demo, basically. Because the word that I'm looking for is sort of if this could be replicated. That's what I'm thinking about. Because if you can't replicate this defense, then it's fun to see SK beating up Na'Vi, but it won't have like any real bearing on future Cobblestone matches. If it could be replicated, then that's great. That makes this map very interesting again.
I think it's the depth of adaptation that we might see if SK can have it, right? It's very easy to, well, it's not easy, but it's something to look back over a demo and go, okay, well, these were clearly our points. Let's put him here, and let's see how it goes. It clearly works. But then it's like, okay, well, when that gets found out, which Na'Vi eventually did, we saw the molly coming in, even though Magic wasn't there, for example, and the other pieces slowly being worked out, do they have something that adapts well to the rest of the strategy? Can they have a place to fall back to? That's when the longevity comes into a strategy and the real depth of it. But then again, this is the first time we're seeing SK not looking too shaky on this map. I think that no one's yet quite pushed them on the depth. Now they're on the T side, though. Last time we didn't get to see much of this, to be honest. And let's see what Na'Vi can do on the CT side. You know, comebacks, you know, they can be a comeback team, Na'Vi, but this is a bit of a task at hand. And now it's a 4-1 split. Again, very similar to what we saw coming out from Na'Vi, actually, on their T side. And once again, it's been met with force. Modi, though, has found one. And he's found a second, actually, to boot, as Zeus does go down. But 3v3 now.
Yeah, Guardian with a really big flank. A Cillian going to be dropped, and Freeze and Modi. I mean, they're making their way out. They could go to the A-bomb side and at least get the bomb down. But they are still so low on health that I don't think it's going to be too easy for them to actually make it out of this round. But bomb plant is definitely better than nothing right now. And Freeze planning way out. There's a bit of an unusual plant. I'm wondering... All right, we'll get back to this about the plant in a bit. Modi going for the shot here, trying to see if he can make it work. Hits one more headshot. Freeze, though, alone and trapped in the corner of that bomb site, trying to see if he can actually maybe surprise them. Going to be jumping up the wall. He gets the one headshot in, and Freeze, very low health, but Flamey, oh, he hits the shot. And I'm wondering if the bomb... All right, it's out in the open. It's just that... Those...
Is this like lessons with Anders again with bomb plant?
It's just that those rocks that are on the ground there, if you put the bomb
put it
down,
inside,
yes,
right,
you could put them inside. So I was just wondering if Freeze was trying to be like ultra next level, but
maybe he was just like, maybe they'll notice if I put it next to it. They'll be confused by what this glowing rock is. So it's not the case.
It's still one of the silliest things that could be done, but there are multiple maps where it can happen.
Yeah, it is a bit odd, but still. So all in all, let's remind ourselves that last time Na'Vi on their T side didn't win the pistol either, but they did at least, you know, they didn't get a bomb plant. Now, SK have, and they're kind of foregoing this round to some extent. No armor seen here. They have got a Tech 9 and P250, so maybe at least trying to do some damage, get maybe some of these rifles away. Flamey, of course, upgrading to that, as is Guardian and Zeus as well. The two SMGs sat towards Cease and Edward there, but still, Zeus going to be on the jump-off point here, just waiting with that nade in hand, and if only he knew.
Yeah, he could bank it right into the wall. That would be good. I mean, Na'Vi had a ridiculous comeback against Astralis, so why not go for a similar one here, and just an even better one actually? If they could do that from 14-1 into to a win, that would be impressive.
That really would. I think that would just destroy SK. Like, guys, we've done it. We finally worked out to play the CT side, but no, it's still very early, and I like this from SK, just taking the time. Just seeing if anyone pushes out, gets a little anxious. You can imagine Na'Vi are pretty frustrated, and you know, frustration adds to making silly peaks sometimes if they're inexperienced. But then again, Na'Vi are not inexperienced.
It's just hard to know what kind of mentality you're going to have to adopt if you're SK right now. Guardian here at the doorway sees a couple of people, and they realize now that it's going to be an A push, and backup is definitely showing up as well. So it should be just fine here for the Na'Vi team. They do get a bit of a refrag in. Pimp taking out Cease. But Freeze will be the last man left. I mean, you could go into a half like this and think, let's just forget about whatever we did first half. if you're on the SK side, you say let's just play this like it was a normal game. Don't think about the fact that we're 2 rounds away from winning. Or you could think, okay, we essentially have 15 rounds out of which we just need 2. So let's just like
how many times can we like throw it at the wall and see if it sticks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, everyone knows that the last couple of rounds can be the hardest sometimes, right? Everyone can just get a little caught up on it. But I'm hoping SK don't have that issue. I'm hoping they can just move away from that. And again, this is risky from Na'Vi not upgrading to anything. I don't think they've got great deals of money, but still, C's sitting on the SMG here, Edward as well. And SK going all rifles. All rifles, limited amount of utility, but still enough to build something from.
And it stands in contrast to what they were doing SK when they were on the CT side. They actually did get rid of the old SMGs. They wanted to make damn sure that they kept winning the rounds. And I mean, that was definitely a good early investment here for SK. Now Na'Vi playing a little bit differently. Nice boost coming up here from Flamey though. Magic spotting it out, but he goes down anyway. Crouches in to take the fight, and Flamey just holds down Mouse 1. That's going to be a good start at least here.
Well, Edward's going to be the one on the platform as well, just kind of holding that spot. He does this on occasion. He will be consistently playing up and down on this platform. And then again, if you want to take it into the kind of mindset of what we put towards Magic, they know that there's probably not going to be any mollies out to play here for SK, so he can play slightly closer angles. Vasilian just spotting on the nade, seeing that that might be exactly where Guardian's going to be. And here we go, the crossfire comes in, allows no one to peek from the doorway, but Vasilian, how far can he get? Nice little flash comes through, but the SMG from C's still finds him. And again, I doubted him keeping this, but my God, has it paid off. And now just 2 left alive, and I don't know how much they can build from this. You still got Edward in this spot with his UMP, I guess. And now Modi and Freeze are going to be looking at this like, what can we do? The crossfire's in play, and at least Modi will find Edward, but Flamey closes down, and a good round from Na'Vi, and good to see the kills coming in towards Seized at least as well.
So what are we gonna make? Are you gonna make the call? If you mean, this is the thing. If we wait until it's like 14-10, then we, you know, it's obviously anyone who could say, yeah, maybe they'll make the comeback. If you do it now, Lauren, you've got a real chance.
I'm a genius.
Here.
Yeah, but Reddit's only just started liking meanders. I can't start doing these sort of things. Give it like a week or so, and then maybe. You know, I think it's a little early in that. Like, okay, right. I haven't even seen Guardian with the AWP yet, which is kind of terrifying too.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
Because he's the guy who literally can do this.
Okay, I'll let you in on the secret about predictions in just a second. No, it's just a second. Guardian here with the UMP close. He's going to make a lot of money behind this. Look at that third kill coming in. Doesn't really even matter that he dies. It's really, definitely a good job. It's going to make it 14-5. But the thing to do with predictions is to be ultra precise.
Oh, you do this all the time. Like when we take bets for like, when does Jason Kaplan show up for work? He goes down to like the second, so...
Exactly, because if you're wrong, people will simply just remember that you're wrong. Whereas if you are right today, so you've got to be like, I think now we'll make the full comeback, and it will be, you know, Guardian dropping exactly 37 kills. So you've got to be something like where people are like, damn, how on earth, how could they know that?
I'm going 16-10. I'm just going out with it. Like I'm saying it's closed out. And I reckon SK have this in the bag.
All right,
I'm going for it. I'm having faith.
All right. I like that. I think it's, you know...
I believe.
You've got to do it. Because people won't remember that someone was wrong about a prediction anyway. But if it's right, people will be like, wow, that's amazing.
But then again, Na'Vi are kind of doing exactly what SK did. We've got a player up on the platform. We've got like 4 players close here. Na'Vi are bringing out like, well, if you want to kind of do this to us, we're going to do it back to you. So you better have something in mind. And to be fair, they are going towards, I guess, the right bomb site, if you want to put it that way. It's only Zeus. Now, you've got an easy rotate coming in as well. It's not going to be too far for them to push off from that drop spot. But SK building up nicely here. And the quickened pace that almost phased Na'Vi a hell of a lot there. And Zeus has already found Pimp, though. This is not going to make it easy. Smoke comes in, and now Na'Vi are in place.
Well, SK with a little bit of a hiccup then, but they're still getting some really good kills in it. It's now a 2-on-2. Zeus up, looking at the wall there. He's very exposed. I have no idea. He's actually moving forward, which seems like an even better idea than standing on top of that roof and shooting. Zeus going to win the fight against Freeze, and Modi goes down, and Guardian is going to pick up the last kill there, 6-14. And moving still closer. I swear they threw a Molotov and a smoke both on the plateau, which doesn't make any sense, because obviously only one of those is actually going to be useful at the time, so maybe some miscommunication.
A touch of it, but I don't know how you can let players get away with that as well, like pushing from the site where you've been spotted up on a plateau where you can be seen to literally fight someone like right. I don't get it. But anyway, Tech 9s, Deagles are plenty, and a lot of armor as well. So 2 smokes we put down, maybe going just for a quick B hit, but these 4 players here from Na'Vi are having a great time, and Zeus just gets a little bit anxious, gets a little bit curious. He's going to find out there's absolutely no one over by edge. So the smoke comes out, they'll just go through the wall. This is a really nice little smoke as well. You can just work on the edge of it.
I do worry about, I mean, Zeus surely should just be playing to spot if anyone is coming A, so he could call for backup.
Correct.
He's playing so far forward right now that if there was someone up there with a deagle to take him down, then the rotation, look how far they are.
Yeah,
they're not even dropped. They're actually all the way in the bomb side or further on. But it looks like they made the right call, Na'Vi, because SK are challenging this position, and it's not going to be a fun time at all for them.
No, it's certainly not. But they might just work out that there is a massive stack here. You've seen that Flamey Seized and Guardian with Edward have now got kills on that site. You've got to be wondering, why are they putting 4 players here this early? We didn't show any of our hand. Like, maybe, okay, someone pushed out the A site, but still, it's got to be working through their minds here. Like, how do we make sure that they don't start reading our game plan super early or getting everything correct? Or are they just stacking, which is exactly what they're doing? So, here we go. This is a big round now. 14-7. Or back onto Freeze. You've got everything you need. You've got Molly's out to play as well. But then again, now they switch up. No, they've got 2 players here. Guardian's now the one to be making the peaks. He's looking to find Freeze, and actually Freeze is up there as well. But Brazilian's a little closer. Nice bit of a tag, going to force Guardian to back away a little bit. And again, gets another one through. Not much damage done, but enough to ward Guardian off.
I was going to say, it's a game that Cillian really shouldn't play, because that AK only does like 3 damage every shot through the doorway, whereas Guardian's AWP will put him down to like 30 health or something like that. So that maybe not be entirely worth it, but he does get the better trade, so why not? Still got so much time left, and Edward up on the plateau. They do have Molotovs if they wanted to clear out this position. So he can't be completely safe here, and the backup is still a little bit distance away. This is the sort of setup that I really am not sure I prefer on this particular map, because if Edward goes down, I don't see how Na'Vi can very easily get back in the round, and actually it's even worse. They're Seized and Flamey both getting down and drop, and now everything is on Edward here, trying to put out the grenade. It's caught by a Cillian, and it all crumbles.
Off the back of 2 kills, basically. And as you said, Edward could have maybe been a linchpin, but timing, he just got caught out with that molly. Now the bomb's going down. Edward is actually looking for this as well. Zeus is around the back, so his position is noted, but would they expect Guardian and drop? Have they heard him? We're going to find out very soon. Flash is going to come over, maybe helping Guardian on a push out if he wants to, but Zeus using it to see if there's anyone on that platform, but that bomb is ticking. Now Guardian is down. There's a player just to his left. He's going to check it, but Magic says no. And now suddenly Zeus left in the 1v4. We are seeing SK Gaming bringing a lot of fire to this. 15-7 now. One more round and they got it in the bag. Now, I'm so impressed by that. Like, they just won out the fights. I don't think it was like anything super tactically ingenious. Pimp, nice play with Magic then just to make sure he didn't get, traded out ineffectively. Edward gets caught out. And then suddenly you got the 2 players who were actually playing A that time, just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But if we just continue from Edward's position there, I mean, even if he has the rifle out and he wins the first fight, they're coming in from drop to kill him anyway. So, I mean, either way, he's fighting 5 people on the plateau without any possible cover. So it just isn't really possible. Another battle going back and forth, and again, Guardian coming out with actually a much less health than you'd expect here. So it seems like it's worth it for them to shoot through that doorway after all. 8 straight map points here for SK to finish this game.
And if Magic's doing that, it's probably not going to go so well. Already finding Seized and opening up opportunities. Now, does Na'Vi read into this? Do they pull players back? They're going to have to pull at least 1 back. And SK look like they're still going for it as well. Magic on the verge there with Pimp as well, making their presence begin to form towards Drop. 2 players, however, holding the platform push and 1 holding the window. So kind of negating what Drop can do, just hoping these guys can stay alive long enough without the push coming out from Drop. Now, 55 seconds left, and there's still a lot of time here for SK.
So much time, and Na'Vi aren't taking any risks to try and figure out what's going on either. Magic with a good return there. Cillian going down. Flamey, he's got nothing that he could do. I mean, Cillian getting the kill on Edward. Su's going to be last man left. He gets dropped, and that's Magic picking up a quad kill to finish it in a matter of seconds. And Na'Vi are going to get wrecked by SK on Cobblestone. What an incredible way to finish this game, and what an incredible game overall.
This is phenomenal, and I'm so glad we got to see the difference a couple of days or a couple of hours can make to these guys. As SK before looked shoddy, they looked a little bit off game. They got absolutely trounced on this against Envy. Now they come out against Na'Vi, and you can see that they put in work, they put in the time, they put in looking through the demos, going through the errors, and they've come out and just beaten one of arguably the better teams on this map.
I really do think Na'Vi fighting as far back as they were on the bomb sites were at least part of it. What we are going to do is obviously go to break, and then we'll have the next map up, and then we'll have the analysis of everything. So I hope that we can get some
good
insight
time
as well.
on that, yeah.
That could be interesting. But really, really well done, SK. Super impressed, super happy. I'm going to go back and look at that demo a couple of times,
I
because
think
it's been killing me watching CT side Cobblestone. It's the first time in a long time I felt like that was a good time. So
I agree. So the thing is now, can SK do the double? Can they do the dirty work? They've got another tough one on the way. It's going to be Train coming up next. Now, if they manage this one, I don't know what's happening today. But then again, it's one of Navi's greatest maps to lock people down on. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back after a very short break.